Mr. Jerry Vaval. What's going on, bloody?
JTG.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
Let's welcome the audience to another episode of Giant Fundamentals, the podcast dedicated to empowering men by tackling the vital issues of mental health. 26, first episode, number 151. With that being said, how's your mind? How's your body? How's your spirit? What are you grateful for?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. This last 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, I've been feeling very, very heavy. I've been feeling extremely heavy because there's just certain things that have happened in the realm of relationships where I'm like, oh, damn, okay, I still have some growth to do. I still have some healing to do. And, one of my core values is growth. Another one is accountability. But what I'm recognizing that even though you could have those values, it doesn't mean it's like, oh, there's opportunity to grow. Ooh, yay. It doesn't always feel that way. Or when you're being held accountable, it doesn't always feel good. It's like, ugh. So I'm recognizing that my values a lot of times are not going to be connected to how I feel in the moment. But I value them out of principle because I understand that these are the things that speak to me. And this is what makes me a better person. And this is what makes me happy when I'm connected to those sorts of values. So my heart has been heavy because I've been journaling, I'm doing audio journals. I've just been really going more inward. And then I found out that the moon, I think it was I don't know if it was I think it's a waning moon. And normally when the waning moon is there, you get all these epiphanies, these deep emotions based off of whatever your sign is. So, as we've been getting deep into astrology lately, the last 6 months to a year, I'm learning more about those things. I'm like, oh, okay, there's no coincidence. It's not a coincidence why I'm feeling this way. Like I'm still in that shedding season, but we just got into the new moon, so now it's time for creativity. It's time for a new birth of things to come as we're in the Capricorn moon. So I say all that to say I've been feeling heavy, but the heaviness I like it principally because it's like, okay, I know I'm shedding right now. I know I'm stepping into something new. I know that these epiphanies are going to literally transform me into the version of myself that I could be proud of when I look in the mirror. So heart, mind, body, heavy, happy, whole. What am I grateful for? Man, seeing another year. And you know, more than that, I'm just taking a layer deeper. I am thankful that I stepped into this year not having, all these goals. I got to accomplish this. I'm going to do this and that. I took a much different approach. I was just like, you know what? My number one goal for this year is learning how to master my energy. I'm not worried about anything else, nothing tangible. I'm not a certain amount of money, nothing, because I understand and I truly believe, more than understand, I believe once I learn how to master my energy, every single thing that I want is gonna come my way. And a lot of times we put the cart before the horse, where we're reaching for something external, not recognizing that there is something within us that needs to be worked out first. So for me, I'm saying to myself, okay, I need to learn how to master my energy. I'm recognizing, especially last year, that my whole life I've been pushing things, I've been forcing things to happen. I've been trying to over control things and people. And I'm like, yeah, that's draining. That's not healthy. And that's not how I want to operate and show up in the world. So it's literally me taking a step back and saying, okay, I need to trust myself. I need to trust life, and I need to allow things to happen the way that they're supposed to happen. Because if I truly believe that everything is for my good, then I don't need to be like trying to control everything. Just step back and learn how to master my energy. And I did that yesterday because I was feeling heavy and I was like, you know what? I don't usually go to the gym at nighttime, but I was like, man, let me go to the gym. And then when I got to the gym, I plan on doing legs. But I was like, you know what? Let me just go on a basketball court. Let me just shoot around. Let me just be creative. Let me just have fun. And that felt really good just to be off script and not do anything like structure. And I realized that, oh, this is a part of mastering my energy right here.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Man, that's great to hear. Um, I'm glad that you're not talking about New Year, New You. You were talking about the moon, the Winnie moon, the Mandela moon, whatever it was. Brother, that sound like witchcraft. Oh, but I'm glad to see that you're stepping into um it's like you're finding little pockets of new phases of yourself,
Yeah,
right?
for
And
sure.
you're really getting into the details, into the weeds of who you are. Um, and I feel similar. I didn't have any. I usually have like 5 big goals I want for the year. I didn't have any of that. I really just took my time for the month of January just to relax and reset and just chill. It was my birthday month, turned 39 years old.
Happy
And it
belated.
was a very chill birthday. Appreciate friends and family for showing love, not doing nothing too big, no surprises. Just loved it.
Yeah,
Went to a
not this year.
comedy
No
show.
surprise this year.
Yeah, no sur well, I got the
Oh, yeah, that
laws.
was a surprise, yeah.
I got, the jury on my ears.
Now you go to
Oh,
hell. Now you going to hell for sure.
finish. Yeah, I completed the last stage of my vagabondness in life, you know,
Vagabond.
vagabonds, Super Saiyan mode with it. Um, and so my heart feels full of love. My body feels great. Worked out yesterday and cut some grass, so had a long day. But just getting back to the fitness part of it, like I love what you said is like not worrying about getting into a structured routine, but just going and showing up and just going with the flow. Just shooting around, just like even if you just went to the gym just to be on the stairmaster for 10 minutes, that's more than enough. See, my mind, I did my body, I did my heart, my mind. I feel so much clearer. I feel like when Neo was in the Matrix and then he stopped the bullets and then he went and touched the bullet, like, oh wow, I stopped this real thing that could have killed me. I'm powerful now. Like I feel like I'm at that stage where it's like everything is slowing down and I'm like, oh, I could choose to do this. I could choose not to do this. I know why I'm doing this. And I'm okay. Like everything is not answered. I don't have to have the answer to everything. And I'm just living life and I'm more present now than I've ever been in my life, in a nutshell. And that leads me to my giant gratitude, which I actually heard it on the Breakfast Club. And it says, we have to learn from past mistakes to make space for a whole set of new ones. So we have to learn from our past mistakes because as we're living life, we have to make space for a whole set of new mistakes that we're going to make. I know I've been in life thinking like, oh, I don't want to make too many mistakes. And it's like, it's not even that serious. Like you got to get over those mistakes and not worry about them. You living in regret and all that. Cause you got to, you come into this new version of yourself, this new lifestyle that you're living, there's going to be a whole set of this new business that you're going into. There's a whole set of new mistakes that you're going to have to make and then learn from.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was speaking to a friend about that similar thing. It's like you cannot choose the mistakes you make.
Mm,
I know we think that we can choose it, but you really can't choose the mistakes you make. Because if you think about it, when you make a decision, you're not thinking that it's a mistake. You're making a decision based off of in the moment thinking that that's the best decision at the time. But then as the decision starts to unfold and you start to reap the rewards and the consequences of that decision, now you say, oh, you put it in the category as being a mistake.
mm,
But the thing is, mistakes are an illusion because if you think about the decisions that you make from the perspective of growth, it's not really a mistake. That situation was literally used for you to grow and be a better version of yourself. So I never really understood how you can say, or how you can harp on making a mistake, but
Mhm.
yet at the same breath say you love growth. You want to be a better version of yourself. Is an oxymoron. It's contradictory. And on top of that, you can't cherry pick what decisions you make in order to make you grow.
Mm.
Like a divorce, as hurtful as it may be, is there to help you grow.
Mm.
Loss of assets that you've probably been building for 20 years, that's something that's going to help you grow. Loss of a child, a fracture of a long-term relationship. Let's say your child is no longer speaking to you anymore and they just don't understand. They have all these things that they feel a certain type of way based off how you raise them. You know, I'm talking to my
Mhm.
parents who now they're having kids at 19, 20 years old. So
Mm.
now they're coming out saying, oh, you did this, you did that, or you didn't do this, you do that. Now they don't want anything to do with you, or even a sibling or whatever. You can't choose, you can't cherry pick the situations that are going to cause you to grow. That's not your choice. But because of that, we say, oh man, I made a mistake. Like, oh, I should have treated her like this. Or, man, I should have been like this way with my kid. Or, man, I should have never made this business investment. I would have never. It's like, you're not about growth for real. And
Yeah.
I'm saying it and I'm framing it in that way, piggybacking off of what you're saying, because I believe that every single person that's listening to this podcast, every single person that's been following us, they're following us because energetically they're about growth, they're about transformation, they're about healing, they're about being better versions of themselves. So if that's who you are, then you have to start the practice of getting so stuck on making quote unquote mistakes.
Mhm.
No, this situation, this circumstance, that decision that you made is being used to grow you in a way that honestly, only that decision can grow you in that way.
Right. And to piggyback what you're saying, I've noticed just people around me and in general, people don't really want to accept the consequences of anything. Even if it was the best choice you made at the time, it's like somehow they want to avert the feeling of the consequences. Like the best choice is still going to come with some level of pain, you know? So it's like in the making of the mistakes, I guess to go another level deep is because we're trying to like not accept the pain or the result of the consequence because we're so fixated on a reward mindset. We're just always thinking like in basketball terms, every shot I take will be the bottom of the net. Will go in. And it's like, no, you have to take the shots for any of them to go in, is the point. In order for you to win the game through scoring, you have to take the shots. Whether it's a bad one or a good one, the fact that you're taking the shots gets you closer to that goal ultimately that you say you want.
Uh, with that basketball analogy, yeah, you got to give yourself a chance to live a happy life. That's the thing. You got to you got, like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So
Hmm.
if you're so stuck on not making a mistake, you're not going, you're not going to live a happy life. And as I've been really getting into shadow work and I've been following Carl Jung, who is the founder of analytical psychology, and I'm able to see myself in a way that I've never been able to see myself before in terms of how I relate and how I see other people. I was just
Mm.
speaking to a good friend of mine and we're going through some astrology stuff, and then I saw one of my signs. It said that it said I'm free spirited, things like that. I was like, whoa. I was like, no, I'm not. And then she was like, yeah, you are free spirited because you're curious, this and that and that. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy because I've always judged free spirited people. I'd be like, nah, you right there, you not serious about life. That's how I used to look. So yeah, for real. That's how I always look at it. I'm like, no, you're not serious. Like, you got to get serious with life. However, I'm recognizing that judgment was
Hmm.
really me envying that this person could be free like that. Because intuitively it's speaking something to me like, man, I actually do want to be free spirited, but I don't feel as if I have the permission to be free spirited. So now, because I don't feel as if I have the permission, I create a negative definition and a negative label towards being free spirited. So
Mm,
now, when I'm pointed like, "Oh, you are free spirited," I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 no," because free spirited to me means you not serious about life. You see how all of that just ties into each other? And I'm like, "Whoa, hmm."
eh,
This is why it's very important for you. Like, man, really got to take time to like really sit with yourself and don't jump to conclusions and stuff. So now I'm like, oh, I always thought that free spirited people make a lot of mistakes, and I don't want to
wow.
make mistakes. So I'm not going to be associated with being free spirited. But really, free spirited people are the ones that are actually getting the full breadth and depth of life. You see how all of that
So
just circles back around? That's crazy.
a little therapy corner. So when was the first time you felt this way about free spirited people?
Nah, since I was a jit. Since I was a jit. Since I was like a teenager. I'm like, yo, y'all niggas crazy. But the thing about it is, it's so interesting because my closest friends, you, Mark, y'all niggas free spirited. So it's saying something. It's
Hmm.
saying something. Well, I never really thought you were not serious because you have a structured side to you as well.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about so many people that I know that are like free spirit is like, nah, nigga, you not serious about life. But it's really
Yeah.
a negative projection that I'm doing because there's an
Mm,
envy there that I wish I could be that way, but I don't feel as if I have permission.
wow. That's crazy how we just broke that down from the giant gratitude. That is crazy. Well, let's get into our mental health music. Eminem. I'm hyped because J. Cole announced that he's gonna be dropping this final album, The Fall Off, in February.
So wait, that's
Um,
his final album for real? Like he ain't coming
yeah,
out. That's
yeah,
nah,
that's
he
what he
tripping.
said.
Nah, he
He's
tripping.
retiring. Yeah, it's a
Oh
double
yeah,
day.
he
He
tripping.
been
He tripping.
painting
He ain't
for
gonna
ten
retire for. He
years.
ain't gonna retire for.
You got to finish the podcast. That's
He
why
got
you got to.
yeah, yeah. It's been a minute. I got to get back on it. He ain't gonna retire for. I don't believe him.
Yeah,
But anyway,
you gonna no? He's probably gonna pull the Jay Z. Jay Z said the same thing when he came out. The
exactly,
Black Album was his last. He came out
exactly.
with like six more after that.
Exactly.
so so I just think he put so much time and effort into this project over the last 10 years that he doesn't feel like he's probably going to get to that point where he needs a break. He doesn't feel like he could put out any music, but someone artistic like that, they always come back to their love anyway.
Yeah.
And with that being said, he did release a snippet of Disc 2 Track 2, where essentially he was rapping his life backwards, so to speak, from his accomplishments all the way down to his birth. And
Well, his
I
death,
wanted you
actually.
to
He started with his death.
what was death. Oh, see, so
Yeah.
if you can explain what you thought about that and what it made you like, what you talked to me offline about it and how he's a student of the game.
Yeah. So when I first heard it, I heard him start talking about being a hearse and whatever, so on and so forth, and going back. I was like, immediately within the first 10, 20 seconds of the song, I was like, oh, he's paying homage to Nas because Nas did the similar thing, I believe, in Stillmatic, where he had a song called Rewind. But what Nas did, he took a like a crime scene type of situation, and he rapped it backwards from the trigger being pulled all the way back to the very beginning where they said, "Oh, that nigga over there, like let's go get him." So
Mm.
immediately I was like, "Oh yeah," and I remember not Jay Z, Jay Z too, J. Cole speaks very highly of Nas and how he has impacted him. And you see a lot of Nas's style in terms of like lyrically storytelling in Jay-Z's music. I keep saying Jay-Z and J. Cole's music. They are great. That's what it is. And J. Cole's music. So when I first started here, I was like, oh yeah. You see, this is the thing that I love about, and we're gonna stick to J. Cole, but it is people in general who are masters at their craft is you cannot be great at something. You can be as talented as you want to be, but you can't be great at something unless you've studied the people that have come before you.
Mm.
It's impossible. You cannot be truly great if you haven't studied the people that come before you. And I believe that I strongly believe that that is a level of humility. It's like, this doesn't originate with you.
Mhm.
You're great at what you do, but you also understand that you have been influenced, you have been impacted by people that come before you. So you want to see, how have they done things? How have they moved? What was their train of thought? It's like me being a therapist. It's like I just said it before, like I've studied Carl Jung and shadow work, and I recognize I don't even realize I'm doing that. You know that, right? And I think a lot of people
Oh,
who are great at what they do, I don't think there's an intentionality, be like, oh, I'm gonna study this person because I want to be just as great. I want to be greater. I think you just love
mhm.
the craft so much that you just get so dialed in into the history of that craft or that discipline. So to see him do that is like, yo, there's a lot of intentionality there. There's a lot of humility there, paying homage to people that have come before you. And that's a big part of why he is who he is, and why he's lasted so long, and why he continues to bless the world with amazing content in that fashion.
So let me ask you, if I was J. Cole, if I was your patient, I say patient, client. I don't like in therapy where you don't like to use the word patient, but client.
That's me personally. Other people use it though.
No, I love the fact that you don't, because it's not. I, yeah, we'll break that down in another episode. I love the
Mhm.
fact that you call him a client, and you are going to give me J. Cole therapy simply on the fact that I wrote a song called "I Let Laws Down," and now I look in the comments after releasing this song, and it was like, this is the nigga paying homage, and he let Nas down twice because he backed out of the Drake Kendrick Lamar beef.
Mm.
So how would you give me J. Cole therapy? I guess to help me with my confidence, my self esteem, because this is my greatest project I've ever worked on, but I'm so nervous about what people may say about it.
So it's simple. I First of all, I'll be like, do you really feel as if you let Nas down twice? Do you really feel
Mm,
that way? Or is it a perception based off of other people's perception? Because if you really look at it, and because he's a student of Nas, if you really look at it from the core, he didn't let Nas down at all. He actually made Nas proud, because more than anything, Nas will want him to fight in his own armor and be the person that he is and move according to his truth. So it's less about, dipping out of the rap beef, and more about following what you believe is right for you. That's making
mm,
Nas proud for real. See, everybody else, they could hover over the surface stuff. They could hover over the surface stuff. But at the core, it's like, no, you are living according to how you believe your spirit is leading you. That's exactly what Nas did the same thing. You see, Nas never switched shit up. He's from the moment he came out till now, he is still rapping the same way. He's still doing
mhm,
the same thing, because that's how his spirit is leading him.
mhm.
And that's why I would tell. That's a snippet of what I would tell J. Cole.
No, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Not sure if you saw, but my boy Anthony Edwards scored 51 points last night.
Oh, and I didn't see.
Ooh, you were about him and Wimby were going at it, boy. Shot
Oh,
for
they played
shot.
again. Okay.
Yeah, they played again. They played that was last night. Yeah, they played the Spurs again. Yeah, because when Mark was telling us it was
Yeah.
on, we
Okay.
didn't watch it. Um, so with the NBA season coming to its midway point, with the NFL season coming to a close, what are your thoughts? Like, what have you been seeing? Is there anything that stuck out from you? Any lessons you've gained through the first half of the NBA season and then the total season of the NFL? Anything that you wanted to share that that was just something that was in the corner of your mind?
Yeah. The three-headed monster.
Mm,
Steph, Bron, KD. They have ushered in, I don't think people are noticing it. They have ushered in a higher level of basketball competition for the NBA. Here's why I say that. Because if you think about, okay, you're in sales. You could do sales until you pass 95 years old.
Mhm.
Somebody
That
rapping,
old?
somebody rapping. You could rap forever till you die. Giving therapy, I can give therapy until I die.
Mhm.
But a physical sport has a life shelf, and they have surpassed what we've ever seen to be playing 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 years. And still, they are still top 10 in the NBA. We're going to
Mhm.
start to see more of that. So they are the pioneers of that. We've seen players like Dirk Nowitzki. We saw Kobe, even though Kobe did score 60 his last game, but that was just straight will. He wasn't doing that the whole year.
Right.
We seen we didn't see we weren't born, but we know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was limping, boy, limping. But these guys, they are averaging mid-20s. One is already 40.
Yeah.
40. LeBron just turned 41. The other nigga's 37, 38 years old. We've never seen anything like this before. It's like the evolution of basketball has gone to the next step because of these guys. Because now it's like once something happens one time, that becomes the norm. So now
Yeah.
you're going to start to see other players, if they love the game, playing that long.
Yeah.
That's the thing that sticks
It's
out to me.
crazy. It's interesting you say that because in the beginning of the season, they were saying that viewership has gone up a lot, and LeBron wasn't even playing yet because he was hurt.
Hmm.
So if you didn't believe in evolution, like you have physical proof right there what evolution looks like,
Yeah.
you know? And I remember when they were drafting high school players because of the shelf life. Like, let's get them younger so that we
Yeah.
can get them longer.
Yeah.
And now you don't even have to do that anymore because cats, I remember playing 12, 13 years in the league was like, that was a long time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Now that's like the league. Now it's almost like the league minimum for an all-star.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And there's still other players
It's
out there that's hooping.
crazy.
DeMar DeRozan, he's still playing well. He's just on a trash team. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
he came around the league. Did he come before Steph? I don't know, but he's been in the league for a while
around
too.
the same time.
Yeah, around the
He's
same
been there a
time.
while, yeah.
James Harden is another one too. He's still hooping like that too. So it's few of
Yep.
them that's like they still like it's like, dang, this is kind of crazy. Them boys supposed to bend fall off. But it's not just about them because I think a lot of times, and this is where my systemic brain comes into the picture, it's not just us seeing them playing, but it's
Mhm.
also the evolution of family as well, because they need a good support around them to be able to do that. So now the thought
Right.
process behind being connected to an NBA player, an NBA superstar, is changing in their circles. Not only that, but science too. Science is evolving as well, because how are they going to be able to take care of their bodies like that if there's not new science coming out on what you should do after back to back, or what you should be doing in the off season, or what weights you should be lifting, and how you should be taking care of this and that. Nutrition. So all of these things are evolving as well. They're just at the forefront of it
Mhm.
because they're what we see. But in the background, there's other things that are evolving too. The system around them is evolving as well.
You know, I think that brings us to our main topic about what's evolving in life because I think as we're getting into this next generation of life, so to speak, right? And what I mean by that is men are now speaking up about what they want, how they feel, what they require. They're expressing more. This podcast is a testament to that. Allowing people to go into a man's mind and say, hey, we feel these things, we know these things, we want these things, and we're being vocal about these things. So today's title is, simply put, what a man wants, what a man needs. So tell us what made you want to bring Usher in 2026 on this particular topic?
It's it's the fact that I'm seeing that a lot of men don't know not what they want. They don't understand, they don't realize what they need. And
Mm,
there is an assessment that I do with all my male clients, that brings that to life, and it's an emotional needs assessment. And I'm gonna slow this
Mm.
down a little bit, okay? I want to slow this down a little bit, okay? So, what I recognize is a lot of men, and I'm gonna go and say most men do not know what they need emotionally. And the reason why most men don't know what they need emotionally is because we were not given the permission as young boys to express emotion. So as we get older, we don't know what our emotional needs are. But the thing is, every single human being has emotional needs. So if you don't know what your emotional needs are, guess what? You're going to end up latching onto vices that are going to replace or try to replace your emotional needs. But it's because you don't know what you need emotionally, but those emotions still need to be met. You still need to meet those
Right.
emotions. So what we do, you drink excessively, you smoke excessively, you numb through food, you be a womanizer, want to be with different women. You're finding things because these vices are things that spike your dopamine. They're a dopamine hit. So they make you feel satisfied in the moment. But like when you have a sugar rush, eventually you're gonna crash. Once
Mhm.
that moment is done and you have to sit in the silence of your room within yourself, then you go right back down and you feel even worse because now you realize that, damn, I ain't feeling good about myself. So now you go right back to the vice again and you do the same thing all over again. And it's all because we don't know what our emotional needs are.
It's funny you bring that up because I was gonna save this for another one of our episodes, but this is perfect timing because earlier in this episode you talked about the shadow work, and one aspect that I realized about my shadow work is that's where I realize my voice is for what I need or what I want, like my real voice.
Mm.
Like in my shadow, I'm willing to express myself without worrying about what someone thinks, other people's perception. Nah, this is what I want. I want head. Give me
Give me
head.
head. Give
You
me.
know what I'm saying? Give me head. I want head, not headaches. I want the head. You know what I'm saying? So what I wrote to myself in my notes was by embracing my shadow side, I can choose to be a villain and enjoy it without needing drugs or pain or vices to be in it. So I think that relates to a little bit what you said. Before, when I wasn't embracing my shadow side, I needed to drink a lot of liquor to feel more myself. I needed to, I
Lower the
wanted to
inhibitions.
punish
Lowering the
myself.
inhibitions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But now with embracing it and understanding what I really want and need, I can voice it more naturally without needing those vices or those things to then be myself.
You know, and what you're saying right now, it seamlessly goes into the first point because there are three things that I came up with that I believe that every man needs. And what you're talking about right now is the first thing that every man needs is safety, but not just any type of safety, internal safety. And the shadow work gives you an opportunity to be honest with yourself. Bro, there are so many things that I realized that I've been suppressing in my shadow because I thought it was wrong for me to want those things. But when I step back and I sit within the darkness of myself, because that's what the shadow is, it's a dark place. And we've been taught, don't be dark, don't go to the dark. No, nigga, go to the fucking dark because there's things in the dark that need to be brought to the light. Until you do that,
Mm.
you're going to be sabotaging your life. You're going to be very unhappy. You're going to start connecting yourself to people that don't really align with you. You're going to start to grab onto certain things that really don't speak to you. Why? Because you're not going into the depths of the darkness to really be honest with yourself and pull those things into the light. So now I'm like, oh, I really do like this thing. For example, we were talking about being free spirited. That's in my shadow. That's in my shadow. But I put it there because I'm like, no, being free spirited is no, 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 no. That's no, you're not serious about life. And guess what? Guess what? I developed an identity all these years. I developed an identity, and a big part of that identity was for people to respect me.
Mm,
So, because I want people to respect me, I've created image and I've created behaviors attached to that image. And I've said subconsciously, okay, when you show up on time, when you're ultra consistent,
mhm,
when you always keep your word, when you are honest and you don't backstab people and you tell the truth as it is, this is how you're going to gain respect. And for
mhm,
some reason, pin that against being free spirited. And I said, I can't be both of these things at the same time. Oh, I want to be accepted. I want to be respected. So I'm going to tuck being free spirited into my shadow because gaining respect is more important. But it's not until I go into the shadow I realize, like, yo, why am I pinning these two against each other? Because I really do want to feel spirited, but there's a fear that if I am free spirited, people won't respect me. But that's an emotional need, though. Like, the emotional need is like, I want to be accepted, right? So I'm going to do whatever
right.
I can to be accepted. And anything that won't gain me acceptance, I'm going to push it into the shadow.
Mm. So, man, it's just a man. Point number one is heavy.
Big
So,
time.
how do you literally? So, how do you? Well, two things. When you don't have that internal safety, you now look towards others to give you what you need internally, which can put you in a bunch of situations or relationships that are not healthy. So, I guess what would be the trigger or the thing that needs to be done to look for that safety within yourself? Like, because someone is not just going to sit there and say, okay, let me just deal with my shadow.
Yeah.
So,
No.
like, what would you do? How would you guide that person to, I guess, audit their internal safety system?
Well, the great Ray Dalio says, pain plus reflection equals progress. I don't, there's no other way we can get around it. And this is where we go circle back again to the mistakes because mistakes equals pain. Things just have to happen. That's what I'm realizing. Like, there has to be certain things that are extremely painful that need to happen in your life in order for you to wake up and realize that, yo, I want people to accept me, but I'm not accepting myself. Once you get to that point, it's
Mm,
like, this is when the wheels start churning, but this is when a major decision has to be made. You just make like, yo, I want to be able to be comfortable with myself. I want to be able to
mhm,
lead with self respect. I want to be able to accept myself. I want to be able to love myself because I realize that this is what's truly going to make me happy. Okay. But guess what? There will be some casualties that come along. And that's the
mm,
thing that a lot of people are definitely afraid of facing. You don't want to deal with those casualties. So then now, as a therapist, this is when I step in to help guide you through that. And I'm not telling you, oh, you need to go down this path. I'm just showing you, hey, look, you walked in this way, suppressing the shadow self, suppressing all those things all these years. We understand what comes from doing that. You have over
mhm,
20, 30, 40, 50 years of evidence of this identity, of this person, of moving in this way. Now you're
mhm,
about to take this journey and you're about to embark on an identity that deals completely and directly with pulling out the things in your shadow that you've suppressed. That is an uncertain journey. That is a fearful journey. That is a scary journey. And the temptation to go back to what's familiar is going to be extremely strong. So I'm just saying, hey, what do
mm,
you want? Okay. Oh, you want this? All right, cool. Let's see what happens with that. Oh, okay, you want that. All right. Well, that's uncertainty. Is it really uncertain? But now we're defining, okay, is uncertainty bad? Like I remember having a
mhm,
conversation with a good friend of mine recently, and I was like, man, life is crazy. And then they said, no, life is magical. And the moment they said that, I was like, it's something clicked in my brain. It was like, there are certain
Mm,
things that have happened in my life the last year in the midst of pain that I'm like, yo, life is magical because this happened and I didn't expect this. This came out of nowhere. And the way that this feels, it's like, whoa, life is magical. And then now, because I've been doing the shadow work, my intuition, my higher self is saying, this is the new phase of you stepping into the version of yourself that you can fully accept and feel safe within yourself. This is the start. So in therapy,
mm,
that's what I'm helping the person realize like, yo, there's certain things that are transpiring. Life is giving you certain clues. There's certain signals. You have to be able to pay attention because those signals are going to help you to continue taking one step at a time into the version of yourself where you start to feel safe within yourself, where you start to detach yourself from
mhm.
external validation and acceptance from others.
So that was just number one.
That's just number
That
one.
was the first. That was yeah. That's just number one, right? And that's internal safety is what every man needs to feel secure. That's
Yeah.
point number
See,
one.
yeah, and the thing about it is, this is why this is important. I'm gonna wrap this up right here with this point.
Hmm.
We think financial security is going to give us internal safety. It will not. It cannot. We think if we can make our personalities, our characters palatable for everyone else, we think that's going to give us internal safety. It cannot. We think by being a family man, securing a family and being there for everyone, we think based off of how people see us will give us internal safety. It cannot. The only thing that can give
Mm,
you internal safety is if you detach yourself from self deceit, self denial, get into the root and get into the middle in the midst of your shadow, of your dark self, and start to really ask yourself the difficult questions. Why am I hiding this? Once you figure out why you're hiding it and you see that, okay, this is nothing wrong with it. Once you get to that spot, now it's time to start practicing it in real life and just allowing the world to experience this new version of you. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel overwhelmed sometimes. Just breathe because your mind is seeing it as a threat. You're like, yo, no, 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 no. Hey, 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 don't do that. Don't do that because people are not going to say, no, 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 don't do that. People are not going to accept you because your mind, the ego is trying to protect you. That's what it's trying to do. But you need to
mm,
just calm yourself down. Be like, okay, listen, I'm already safe. It's okay.
mhm.
And take that one step forward. And then you start to gain evidence like, okay, dang, that didn't turn out like I thought it was gonna turn out. That actually was really good. It felt really good. Yeah.
So once we start to feel a little bit more safe, more internally secure, we start to like, okay, that didn't turn out too bad. I can request head more often, more than my birthday and Christmas. So, whoa, what's the second thing
The
that I
second
would need
thing,
to feel secure there?
every man needs to have clear self-worth. That is not tied to performance.
Mm,
That is not tied to performance. Because a lot of us, man, it's crazy. Yeah, because I have this assessment that I do with my man, performance based identity, and we're definitely gonna get it. We're gonna definitely break that down in another episode. But a lot of men, their self worth is tied to how well they perform. What does performance look like? It's not just in a sport. It's not just in how much money you can make. It's not only just in how well you could perform at work. But people pleasing is a performance based identity. You're performing. That's a role that you're playing. You're performing, which is tied to your self worth.
and manipulating.
Yeah, you got to have, yep, and it's manipulative. Yep. So it's like we don't recognize. And again, I'm, beating a dead horse. That's what being honest with yourself, doing that shadow work. Like, are you really being you, or are you performing? And if performance is tied to who you are and it's tied to your self worth, then man, the moment that you can't perform that way anymore, bro, you're gonna be such a miserable person. I have this client of mine, man. I've been doing some great work with him. I think for like the last three months. He's definitely deeply rooted in performance based identity. And even fun things, and I ain't gonna lie, my clients be teaching me a lot. They're mirrors to me too. Cause even fun things he's taking so seriously. He loves to golf, and he's like, "Yeah, when I go, I do this
Wow.
routine, this and that and that, and I'll be in my head 'cause I be messing up." I'm like, "Damn, I be doing that when I be practicing basketball sometimes. That's kind of crazy." So is he saying that? And I'm like, "Bro, well, you trying to be a professional golfer? Like he's 50. Like you trying to be a professional golfer?" I'm being sarcastic. I know he's not. He's like, "No, this." I said, "It's supposed to be something to make you have fun. You're supposed to just relax. Like, why are you taking it so seriously?" Like, and as I'm talking, I'm like, "Nigga, you talking to your fucking self too." I'm like, "Yo, why are you taking it so seriously?" And he's like, "Well, because, we do things with excellence and this and that and that." But I said, "You know what I've learned? That being playful is also part of being excellent too. Because
Mm,
it's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game, it's a hobby. This is supposed to be something where you're nurturing your inner child, but you're making your inner child not want to do the thing because you're making it too strict and too serious. But it's because he's attached. Everything he does is performance based. And when that is
mm,
attached to your self-worth, then guess what? We could no longer do that thing, bro. You're gonna be the most miserable person on earth, and you're gonna make other people around you miserable as well. And the thing what a lot of us don't see is that, especially I'm really talking to our men, you are tying who you are to what you do. And that is the most damaging thing that you can do. But guess what? That's what they taught us. Whoever got the best jump shot, whoever could throw the ball the farthest, whoever could run the fastest, whoever could get the most girls, whoever got the most swag, like, that's the person that's praised. That's the person that seems as if they
mhm.
have more worth. So it's like a lot of unlearning that needs to be done.
Yeah, something that comes to mind about this, because as a man, you not doing anything or you just relaxing or chilling or not taking something seriously can it can be damning from another person's perspective, right? Because when you're always performing or people pleasing, you really care about what other people think. So if you're just on the couch scratching your balls watching football and your wife is nagging you because you didn't take out the garbage or do the dishes, or if you're just playing around playing pickleball or pickup basketball and your homeboy's like, yeah, you won't never take nothing serious. Like those constant rewind of thoughts that they're throwing at you can make you feel like, damn, all right, maybe I'm not worth anything. But I realized, at least for myself, it was because of the lack of boundaries I had. I didn't have boundaries to be able to say, okay, not allow someone's projection to be placed on me,
Yeah, but why?
right?
But the thing,
Because
why didn't you have boundaries though? That's the thing. Why you think you didn't have boundaries? Because you wanted to be
because I didn't know
accepted.
my self-worth.
Yeah, because you want to be
Exactly,
accepted.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why you don't have boundaries. That's why you become a people
Mhm.
pleaser because you want to be accepted. Because really, you don't accept yourself, and it's like a reverse thing. It's like, how do you expect people to accept you if you don't accept yourself? And I think about that. I'm like, yo, that really doesn't make any type of sense. That really doesn't.
Right. You're right. Eh.
It's funny because a part of the assessment too that I give my clients, it asks about rest. Like, is there shame and guilt around you resting and not doing anything? That's a
Mm.
big part of knowing if you have
Yeah.
a performance based identity, if your identity is literally rooted in performance. How do you feel when you're resting, when you're not doing anything? Do you feel as if you have to wake up every single day and you have to have a long list of things that you're doing? Is there a day where you can just lay in bed and just be like, yo, I'm not waking up, and just turn on your TV and just watch TV and just get up, eat in bed,
Mhm.
then go back to sleep? Like, do you have days like that? Do you do that? How do you feel even just thinking about doing that? That tells you everything that you need to know
Mhm.
of where your worth is tied to.
I like the way this is going. So now I have more internal safety and my chest poked out. I know my self-worth, so I know I can chill on Sundays. That's my chill day. Can nobody bother me? I have my boundaries now because I understand I accept myself. What is the next thing that every man needs to feel secure? Like,
Mm.
what is that final?
The final one, yeah. The final one is the one where we kind of, this is where we put the cart before the horse. But this is where all these points lead to this one is trustworthy connections. You see, if you don't have internal safety, how can you build trustworthy connections? If you don't value yourself, if you don't accept everything about
Mhm,
yourself, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, how can you have trustworthy connections? You can't, because now you're going to be on this ping pong ball of trying to gain trustworthy acceptance or gain trustworthy connections by not having boundaries, by being a people pleaser.
mhm,
And when you're not having boundaries and when you're being a people pleaser, you are self abandoning. So
mhm,
if you're self abandoning, how can you have trustworthy connections? Because now you're just going to be thinking, like, yo, I got to do this and that for people to like me. But when you start from having internal safety, doing the shadow work, accepting all of yourself, which leads to clear self worth, now you're going to start to attract trustworthy relationships instead of trying to force and coerce trustworthy relationships. Now you're attracting people who will love
yeah,
you for you and all of you. And as men, we need
mhm,
that. Like, man, to me, one of the best things in my life is knowing that I got you, Mark, Pete. Like, I just know without a shadow of a doubt, if ain't no other niggas in this life that accept me for me, I know y'all niggas. I know y'all do. I don't, yeah, and I do this work, but man, there are men that they do not have relationships like that at all. I had this one client, he going through this thing with his I feel like I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. He going through this thing, his ex stole the kids from him. He ain't seen his kids in 2 years. Crazy stuff. Right?
mhm.
And he comes on the call with me, we have a therapy, whatever, and he's like crying out his ass, and it's very tough for him. Now, one of the things for me as a therapist, one of the main things that we've been trained to do is to connect our clients with social support, because I can't be with you every single day. You have a mom, you have a dad, you have a
Mhm.
sibling, you have friends. Like, you need social support through these type of times. He's living with a good friend of his, and he's like, nah, I can't tell him about this stuff. I can't do this. Nah, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I can't. Tell him this stuff. Like, how he's gonna look at me. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, what's the point of having a friend if you can't open up and talk to them about this stuff? Bro, you know how many male clients I have like that? That they only feel comfortable talking to me about those sorts of things. And even when they started with me, it was extremely uncomfortable because I'm a man. So it's like, you know, so it's like so many of us don't recognize that we need trustworthy connections. A lot of men do not have that, but we
Mhm.
don't recognize that unconsciously we're trying to gain those connections. Why? This is why we become people pleasers. This is why we don't have boundaries, because we think that that's the way to gain trustworthy connections. It's like you got to first build that internal safety, get to know who you are, get to accept and
Mhm.
love who you are, build your worth off of who you are, and then watch the people that need to fall off, and watch you see the connections that you need to have, those trustworthy connections come into your life. I'm just blessed and I'm thankful that I've known y'all niggas since single digits. So that's a bless. I know not a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
I'm blessed for that, but I'm also excited about the new relationships that I'm building right now. Because I'm only 40. So if I got 40 more years to live, it's like, yo, I'm looking forward that as I do my own work, as I continue to lean more into myself and have that internal safety, that I'm going to start to attract more relationships like that, more trustworthy connections.
No, it's crazy that you said that many people usually do this backwards, where based on these three things, they try to build those trustworthy connections. Then they try to gain self-worth from those outside validations. And they think because now those outside people accept me and I have this self-worth, I'm safe. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't really produce good fruit. It doesn't really make sense. And you wonder why you feel crazy or not happy when you have the money, when you're performing well at work and you have all these friends.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Any last thoughts? Because I ain't got you said it all. So I don't know if you got anything to take us out, but
Yeah. So I know we started mid 2026 with the podcast, but as all of us are, or many of us are on this train of like, oh, I want to accomplish this, I want to do that. I just want to employ every single person that's listening to this. Do not do not continue to lose yourself in the process of attaining status, money, relationships. Don't lose yourself. Because a lot of us, we don't recognize that. We lose ourselves. We get far and far away from who we truly are. Let this be a year where you just come closer to who you are. And life is gonna throw these little darts your way. Life is gonna throw these situations. If that's what you want, life is gonna throw those situations your way to to test that. But I believe that that will be the most rewarding thing for you. Like really start to lean more into you. Start to really find out who you are. Because a lot of us, we think we know who we are based off of what we do. Bro, what you do is not even an ounce of who you are as a person. You are way more than what you do. You are way more than how much you show up for people. You are way more than your education. You're way more than that. But when you're stuck on looking a certain way, when you're stuck on performing, when you're stuck on attaining, there's no way you can truly be on the path of becoming. So let this be the year where you say, look, from this point moving forward, I'm committed to becoming. And I'm going to allow life to be my partner in the path of becoming.
mm, I love you, bro.
I love you too. Until we pod again.
But listen to me closely when I tell you you are a champion. Keep fighting. Fight, fight until you make it right. Fight, fight, fight with all your might. Fight, fight until you see the light. Fight.